There's a crisis in the White House.
What's the crisis?
And the president's top advisors have been called together.
Oh, jeez.
The sexual misconduct occurred inside the Oval Office.
Wag the Dog.
When the fit hits the shan, somebody's going to have to stay after school.
Movies that predicted reality successfully. Number 1, Robert De Niro's Wag the Dog. This movie revealed the easiest way to control the public. Make them watch a lie. In Wag the Dog, a political scandal breaks out right before an election. So what does the government do? They hire a Hollywood producer to stage a war on TV and distract the public. The media shows tanks, explosions, refugees, none of it's real.
We can't afford a war.
We're gonna have the appearance of a war.
But the public eats it up. Ratings go up. Questions go down. Sound familiar? Was this just satire? Because since then, every time a scandal breaks, people ask the same question. What are they distracting us from? Did the producers of this movie create the blueprint? Watch it again, then decide for yourself. What if the next war is already in post-production? Follow for more.
There's a crisis in the White House.
What's the crisis?
Hey, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the I can do anything.
With the election only days away, how much will this scandal affect the outcome?
You see that?
Could be. Masculine, right?
Sit on my lap if you love me, but don't put your hand down there.
No, I didn't mean...
The person on my right, who, unbeknownst to me at that time, was Donald Trump, put their hand up my skirt.
But don't put your hand down there.
I don't think it's appropriate for what we're doing. I just meant for you to see it.
I got the committee.
That's more important.
Hey.
Oh, King, show him the thing.
It's not really done. You didn't want to show him.
Show it to him.
All
You
right.
talk about enlarging the market. Tell him, Faith.
Here it is. Artist rendering of the memorial.
The memorial.
Mm-hmm.
That's the memorial of the fallen.
Statue called the Fearless Girl appears to be staring down the iconic charging bull. The new image was put up by State Street Global Advisors to mark today's International Women's Day. The asset management company is calling on thousands of U.S. corporations to take steps to increase the number of women on their corporate boards. Right now, the statue is expected to stay up for the month.
The memorial.
The memorial.
Mm-hmm.
That's the memorial of the fallen.
The memorial.
The memorial.
Mm-hmm.
That's the memorial of the fallen. When it's cooking, it's cooking.
Wag the Dog.
Hey, Shalom, all praises to Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles, elders, and all you brothers and sisters pushing the name of Yahweh while Yahweh Shai in all truth and sincerity. Spirit got it with these devils are going to hyperdrive to cover up their shame and their filth. As the Lord said, he will lift up their skirt to expose their wickedness, and that he's against thee, O sorcerer or nation of Edom. When you read Ezekiel, the 31st chapter, he said, prophesied against Mount Seir, which is the nation of Edom. And Nahum says, against thee. For the filth and nastiness that America has been built up on is going to be destroyed upon. Pedophilia, rape, robbery. John 10 and 10 that's their MO. And these Epstein files, we know through the Spirit of the Lord, is one that's a shame. And they're using it as a diversion because they want to bring in the New World Order and bringing down digital systems and infrastructure to push that mark of the beast, that RFID chip. But the Lord's doing this thing with the Epstein files to show the filth and nastiness of the nation of Edom. And their front men, we know the international bankers, the elites, they all have those, what they call Rothschild parties, eyes wide shut. Everything that Epstein files will show on the child sacrifice, cannibalism, and all the lesser luminaries as your Trumps, your Bush, your Clintons, they all partake and always partook in that ritual. That's why they're all friends with Epstein, whether it's political, entertainment, sports. Once you get into higher ups, you have to do those rituals. And the Spirit got it where 2 Corinthians 2:11, it says, "Lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant to his devices." And that covers a whole slew of the devil's playbook. And one of the devil playbook that they got going on right now is Wag the Dog, which is a political term, meaning it's set up by diversion and a diversion from damaging issues when you look it up. And that damaging issue is that Epstein file. You seen that they tried to sit there and shut down the government, go through Venezuela, start fights with their allies of NATO. And now more and more since those files or that list been being pushed, the Commander-in-Chief Donald Duck Trump has been shown to be on that Epstein list quite often. And at first they said he wasn't implicated in any crimes, but now the messages are coming out that he's done many of those crimes and those rituals as part of the MO. In this league and this thing of the Illuminati, they got to have you blackmailed, so they have you under total control. That's the so-called white man, the Nation of Edom's MO. That's why they want the mark of the beast, so they can have total control over your thoughts, your actions, and you do what they say. What they say, they have the God complex. But that movie Wag the Dog is with Robert De Niro and I think Dustin Hoffman. Came out in 1997. And it's a good watch. You know, back then they said push-up show what happened with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, but it reflects these days. Because when you watch that movie, Wag the Dog, which means the tail controls the bigger issues, they say that in that movie it was a good, a big thing of the president sleeping with a Girl Scout or underage girl, which is now. With the Epstein Islands, is all about underage girls and pedophilia and homosexuality and messing with little boys, sacrifice. So, of course, this devil, like the scriptures say, Revelation 12:12, going to come down with great wrath. He'll come and do anything because he knows time is short. Whether it's in the eye of the public, the people all know that he's a low-life piece of shit. From the Amalekites, the Israelis, how AIPAC infiltrated and run the United States, it's all coming out. Or whether his position of power in the world, being a superpower, Russia, China, North Korea, they have better weapons and militaries down to combat America. So now they're coming in with that great wrath. And Wag the Tail or Wag the Dog, in that movie, it showed you that they would use the political or use the move filmmaker to set up a war. But this right now is Wag the Dog 2.0 because the war they're setting up, it's not going to be a fictitious war. It's going to be real wars. They try to divert the attention on them being the scum and the piece of shit, the lowlife. As they tell you in Hebrews the 12th chapter, that there's no profane person like Esau. That's why the Lord tell you Romans 9:13, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So I read that again. It says 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get advantage of us, we are not ignorant to his devices. And that device of the media or even the film industry, propaganda, using crisis actors, using stuff even going way back to the moon landing. And you have whistleblowers that tells you, like Stanley Kubrick, the one who last film was Eyes Wide Shut. He would show you the rituals and the satanic orgies and sacrifice that they were using, even pedophilia with the child at the end in the magic circle. And the two guys that was at the main party was walking off with Nicole Kidman's and Tom Cruise character daughter, showing you that pedophilia is their main power source. He was trying to show you that he did the moon landing. And even during, whether it's the COVID-19, whether it's any crisis, they always have crisis actors. And it's been shown. It's been footage of body bags moving, footage of multiple actors or actresses playing the same person. That's what got Alex Jones in that shit show in Sandy Hook, because he was exposed to some of that and called it a hoax. But they do actually will use real life murder to bring in their agenda or to hide their plans of what they're doing. So it says, Satan should get advantage of us. We are not ignorant to his devices. And it's prophesied all out that this man has wicked devices in his MO of deception. That's why he's known as that old dragon, that old serpent that was more subtle. When you read Genesis, that was more subtle than all the beasts of the field because of his deception. That's part of his power. So to use the media and film to hide what's really going on, that's this MO to the fullest. That's why you got Psalms, 33 and 10. It says, the Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. Because all the stuff that they're doing, they have counsels before they make moves or these plays. And it's heavy. As soon as I seen that the mainstream news was bringing out that there's more footage of Trump in the Epstein files, saying that he seen footage or had the Asian congressman saying that they found evidence that Trump raped a young girl. You know that he's going to come in with that Wag the Dog. And this ain't no movie, this is reality, that they're going to come in with more ice, probably have a terrorist action happen on the American soil, anything to divert people from having him impeached or his whole administration. As they said, that it really was to prosecute everybody that went to them Epstein Islands, that this whole system would collapse. That show you the filth and nastiness of America. That's Nahum. The Lord says he's against thee. He's greatly against thee. That's why he's exposing and showing the world your nakedness. The CIA, the Boy Scouts, the Catholic Church, they're all into pedophilia. The inner city, the bankers of London, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, they're all into that filth. And instead of going and letting the world and just coming out saying they're the devil, they'll have diversions to try to hide their identity because they claim to be the chosen people, but everything's been shown, as it tell you in 2 Thessalonians, then shall that wicked be revealed, that this man is nothing but the pure devil, the son of Satan. Now, you even got people saying that the devil or Satan isn't as wicked as Trump. He's just the face of the international bankers. So it says, Psalms 33 and 10 said, the Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. Because eventually, no matter how much you try to divert and try to show the world that you're not the devil, it's already exposed that you are the devil. That's why the Lord have us as servants, the prophets out there prophesying on the internet, on the streets, telling, exposing, showing the whole world the filth of the nation of Esau, Edom. So he can try to wag all the dogs, all the tails, but the bigger picture is that you're the devil and you're being exposed. You can't get around it. All that stuff they're doing on Fantasy Island, aka Epstein Island, in the spirit, have it later in another lesson. We'll touch on it. Because it's coming out every which way where you can't deny it. Even though they're using it as the diversion, it's a nasty diversion. It's still shame, a shameful spoon on the nation of Edom, the so-called white man, and his highly glorified government of the United States, showing there's nothing bunch of creeps and weirdos from one administration to the next, from Pizzagate to now the Epstein list. And prior to that, you had the Franklin cover-up. And there's all kind of stuff that's been coming out on the government, and they always try to hush it and ban certain news stations for playing documentaries. But now the Lord say he's not. You can't be hidden no more. He's lifting up that skirt and seeing how nasty and funky your vagina, your legs, everything is filthy. So it says, blessed is the nation whom the Most High is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. Because they're going down is the uplifting of our nation, starting with the elect. the prophets, and servants and teachers of Yahweh Shai the right way, as they tell you that there was no guile or deception found in their mouth. It said, the Lord looketh from heaven, and he behold his sons of men. From the place of his habitation he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioneth their heart alike, he considereth all their works. There is no king save by the multitude of hosts. Mighty man is not delivered by much strength. And in vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them from famine. And that's what we're waiting for. So let them wag the dog or whatever, you're being exposed and being rooted out. As he told the prophet Jeremiah, he has given thee this day to plant and to root out. And through this truth and this knowledge, all his lies and deceptions of being a chosen people, of being a righteous people, is all being pulled out. His deception is over. It's like the end of that Scooby-Doo when they find a wicked villain, and now the whole world knows it's nobody nastier or more wicked than the so-called white man. And all his tactics and all his methods of trying to prove everybody he's righteous, the Lord is showing that he's wicked. So a quick one through the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. They can't wag the dog. They can't put up any more film to try to cover their filth and who they are as the wicked, the devil, that old serpent, the dragon, whom the Lord said, O Babylon the Great, which are to be destroyed. And he's destroying them and showing their wickedness to the mass of the other nations and to the true children of Israel, the Israelites, before he ultimately put in that sickle and give them his ultimate judgment, that nuclear missile. So with that, all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Shalom to the elect. Hell with Esau and 2/3.
Well, Bondi, glad you finally made it here after hiding for 4 months from this committee. I understand why you're hiding from us.
Chairman?
You're one of the worst attorney generals in our history and an instrument of Donald Trump's lawless authoritarian agenda, and I'm glad the American people are seeing who you are, how you act, and the lack of good values. You weaponize the Department of Justice to target immigrants, working families, and anyone that Trump deems an enemy of the state, all to protect real powerful criminals, including in your administration. My Democratic colleagues have focused on your cover-up of the Epstein files and your passion for protecting pedophiles and child traffickers. That alone is grounds for impeachment. But there's so much more to your corrupt tenure as Attorney General. You directed prosecutors to investigate elected officials in welcoming jurisdictions, and you got thrown out of court when you sued Chicago, Cook County, and Illinois. You directed prosecutors to prioritize low-level immigration cases while gutting enforcement against corporate criminals and public corruption. You revived draconian law of 1798, which should be repealed to illegally send people to a torture prison in El Salvador. You fired over 100 immigration judges, including the assistant chief immigration judge in Chicago, without cause, and installed unqualified military judges whom you instructed to deny asylum in violation of the law. You prosecute the president's enemies like Jim Comey and Tish James while giving impunity to federal agents who are murdering and brutalizing and terrorizing constituents, including in Chicagoland, in my neighborhood. I saw it last year firsthand. You and Kash Patel covered up the murder of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez in my district by ICE agents. You tried to investigate Renee Good instead of the ICE agent who murdered her, and you tried to cover up the murder of Alex Peretti by CBP agents. You bring fake charges against protesters like the Broadview Six and Marimar Martinez, whom your administration labeled a domestic terrorist. This is the Montessori teacher who lives in my district, while protecting thugs who terrorize us and DHS authority. That's what you do. Protect and enable the criminals who are plundering our society and destroying what's left of democracy and the rule of law. Epstein accomplices, mass DHS thugs, corporate criminals, Tom Homan, Eric Adams, insurrectionists, the list goes on. And you talk about fighting crime, but you protect any criminal who helps you and Trump turn our country into an authoritarian gangster state. And after all this, nobody supports you. I'm not talking about Democrats. I'm talking about conservative judges who are condemning the rampant lawlessness at DOJ under your leadership. Your prosecutors are quitting in droves over being forced to prosecute low-level immigration cases, including in Chicagoland. Your MAGA base despises you because you're covering up the Epstein file. How
Movies that predicted reality successfully. Number 1. Robert De Niro's Wag the Dog. This movie revealed the easiest way to control the public. Make them watch a lie. In Wag the Dog, a political scandal breaks out right before an election. So what does the government do? They hire a Hollywood producer to stage a war on TV and distract the public. The media shows tanks, explosions, refugees, none of it's real.
We can't afford a war. We're gonna have the appearance of a war.
But the public eats it up. Ratings go up. Questions go down. Sound familiar? Was this just satire? Because since then, every time a scandal breaks, people ask the same question. What are they distracting us from? Did the producers of this movie create the blueprint? Watch it again, then decide for yourself. What if the next war is already in post-production? Follow for more.